In my opinion, curiosity and resiliency is the new AI currency to make you a better product leader. AI innovation is all about doing new things with AI that fundamentally shift what's possible. So, AI agents will soon be our colleagues, or you may be even managing your AI agents' performances. And again, it's all about rebuilding with AI.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Products That Count webinar. Today is a must for product leaders and builders navigating what I would say is probably one of the biggest shifts of our time, not just AI, but rebuilding with AI. My name is Denise Hemke. I am honored to be your host for today's session. I am also the Chief Product Officer at NeoGov, where we build a suite of robust HR and public safety software purpose-built for the government sector. I am thrilled to welcome our speaker, Gayatri Diwan. She is the head of product and AI platform at Hosta AI. Gayatri is a seasoned AI product leader with over 15 years of experience from companies like Expedia and Amazon. She's led product vision and strategy across B2B, B2C, and AI and ML portfolios. She has done a lot. And she's also a startup advisor, a mentor, and someone who is really deeply committed to shaping the next generation of product leaders. In today's session, though, Gayatri is going to walk us through what it takes to integrate AI in a way that doesn't just sound exciting, right, but actually scales and adds value and transforms how we build. So this session will be packed with insights on the AI product flywheel, emerging AI and PM roles and trends, and some best practices for adoption. And then she's got some tips and tricks, maybe some pitfalls to watch out for. So if you're trying to cut through the noise and figure out, there's a lot going on with AI, it's a buzzword right now. I'd like to say if I had $1 for every time I heard it, I'd be rich. But if you're really trying to drive impact and not just, focus on the noise, then you are in the right place to learn today. So with that, let's get started. Please join me in welcoming Gayatri.
Yeah, thanks, Denise and Product That Counts community for having me. Really excited for our session today. All right, so a little bit about me. I know Denise gave a lovely introduction, and you're too kind if you ask me, Denise. I'm Gayatri Diwan. My product journey has spanned across last 15 years, right from Deloitte Consulting to Amazon, Expedia, startups, and now at Hosta AI. I first got the opportunity to work in AI/ML about, I would say, 6 years back I started with predictive machine learning modeling, computer visioning, moved over to Gen AI, a bit into agentic AI, and now I'm into spatial reasoning. So I've tried to summarize my AI journey thus far in this word cloud that you see. But hey, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn and also stay tuned for my upcoming newsletter, which will be based on today's topic, rebuilding with AI, and will go more in depth. So, my goal of today's session for you, product leaders, is twofold. First is to share with you the AI product pitfalls to avoid when building and scaling products. And then second is to share key strategies that will enable you to hopefully become a better AI product leader. Now, here's what we are planning to cover today in the what and in the how. In the what, we will cover the different AI ML evolution modes. How is product management evolving in this age of AI, along with the AI product flywheel and a few product roles? And in the how section, we will cover some of the top challenges faced by PM leaders, how to overcome them, as well as some trade offs and a few key takeaways. Now, throughout a session, I will be sharing my perspectives, experiences, and some fun stories while building AI products. Now, before we get into the sausage making, into what goes into rebuilding products with AI, let's take a moment to take a look at some of the AI evolution modes. Now, We know about 7 to 8 years back, we went through the whole wave of predictive machine learning models, which is still there with a lot of the supervised, unsupervised models. Then we moved on to agentic AI, which was, multimodal in nature, and we still are seeing a lot of evolution in it. We have then moved on to the agentic AI space, which obviously works more autonomously, based on your reasoning and acts independently too. At the same time, spatial AI is also rolling in and kind of becoming the next frontier in AGI. It's more about these 3D image rendering where you connect them together to form a structure, shapes, and relationships between objects and materials. Typically, you see this in self-driving vehicles, AR, VR. We've also moved on into robotics using AI, and also we are heading into quantum AI, right? Where AI, I feel it's going to eventually meet quantum mechanics that will really leap us forward in this AGI world. Now, why does this moment feel different? We have had several, visionaries like Jensen Huang, Sam Altman, Mark Zuckerberg, and several others who have shared their take on where AI is headed. As you can see, Jensen already said in his keynote speech at CES 2025 that we are already into agentic AI and we're moving into physical AI. NVIDIA has already launched its first AI robot. And then Sam Altman has also given his take on shared intelligence and how knowledge is getting democratized through AGI. Now, we know this age, AI age, is revolutionary, and we can see it impacting our lives in various different ways. I'd love to share my point of view on how product management is evolving in this age of AI and what does it really mean for us PM leaders. So, with that, I'd love to dive into the AI product flywheel. Now, I'm a big fan of product flywheels, and I picked it up during my times at Amazon. We all know the famous Amazon flywheel. Here is the flywheel that I've imagined through the lens of AI, and I feel it helps build the ethos for AI first products. Various components need to really jam together to build a momentum and to drive growth. Now, let us focus on this orange bubble here, on the customer value and outcomes, which is at the center of the flywheel. And that is the final goal. It all starts with identifying and building products for the true customer need. As they say, meeting the customers where they are. Now, you need to build AI products to solve the true customer need versus, hey, here is an AI solution that you could use. Working backwards is something I have personally always used and built my products in that way, and it has really served me well. Now, once you have met the customer needs, the customer develops trust in your product, thereby driving adoption and more usage of the product. This in turn will help us get more data, more training, and help us create more informed decisions and iterations. We all know that, trust is the foundation of any AI product in this digital economy. Now, as the product matures, right, with better customer value and outcomes, feedback loop mechanisms really help the PMs build more ethical and responsible products, thereby leading to improved AI capabilities, such as it could be better predictions, more relevant search results, more relevant content. And this in turn strengthens and connects us back to the customer trust, thereby building the flywheel momentum. Now, one interesting thing that you'll notice here, the AI product flywheel needs to exist in the right contextual window to get the true value and growth from AI products. Now, what does this right contextual window really mean, right? According to me, it means to have the current and the right level of knowledge and information about your customer, your company, the competition, your business processes and operations, all of it while leveraging your enterprise data to make some relevant insights for key decision making. It's all about how you define this contextual window. Now, incidentally, I have also published an article on LinkedIn that goes in a couple layers deeper onto this topic. So feel free to stop by and check it out. Now, Let's step into the evolution role of AI PM. Now, we all know the PM role is exchange and synonymous with AI PM. You cannot have a PM role without AI these days. All product leaders want their teams to have an AI strategy and leverage AI to build efficient products. Now, here is my point of view on how the different PM roles align in this age of AI. First is you have the AI powered PMs, which sit at the top of the triangle. And they are mainly, we have feature PMs, growth PMs, who typically build AI features such as you have the meta AI tools, right, for creators, consumers on social media. You have personalization, Google Photos, also features like note taking, summarization, and then you have the growth PMs, right, that typically drive your revenue, retention, and monetization. They typically use, targeted ads using AI tools or target segment discovery tools, all of it using AI. Now, the remaining three product categories, as you can see, they sit horizontally and at the platform level to serve the needs of the overall business and the product. We know AI research PMs, they typically, work with applied scientists to really push the boundaries of research capabilities and then transform this research into applications. Like you have research PMs at OpenAI, Cloud Code, Anthropic. And then thirdly, you have the AI data PMs. They are the ones who really build the data models, the data pipelines, and layers for data retrieval. Like you have the different RAG mechanisms, or maybe indexing through knowledge graphs and vector DBs. And then finally, you have the AI platform PMs, which really build the internal scaffolding and software development kits to enable quicker integration, faster adoption, and development of AI components and the feature stores. Now, I believe this pictorial representation really extends the old with the new using AI. And ultimately, it all comes down to rebuilding with AI and rewriting some old patterns. Now, while our core PM skills really matter, right? Where we want to identify the unmet customer needs, achieving PMF, stakeholder management, you name it, conflict resolution, they still matter and they don't go away. But in my opinion, curiosity and resiliency is the new AI currency to make you a better product leader. Now, I'd love to get into crux of what it really means to rebuild and reimagine products with AI. In my previous experiences, we built our AI product strategy mainly centered and grounded around these two major product themes. These two themes really helped us stay principled, where AI truly matters, and how should we think about problem solving with AI. So the first theme is AI innovation. Now, what is AI innovation? AI innovation is all about doing new things with AI that fundamentally shift what's possible. Think about building, 0 to 1 products using AI. That those would fall in the AI innovation category. And then the second theme is AI augmentation. That's basically the enhancement of your existing workflows, your systems, tasks, all of it with AI to improve the efficiency and accuracy. So, AI augmentation is all about doing existing things better, faster, and at a much bigger scale with AI as your partner. At the same time, I believe, building trust with AI also means leaving AI out of situations that require human intervention and having the customer's best interests at heart. Next is with all the product prototyping you have, the product life cycle is getting shorter now with AI, right? So I'd love to unpack some of the key challenges that we deal with when building or rebuilding with AI products and how to overcome them. I will be sharing some personal anecdotes and examples along the way. So, if you are a PM leader who's starting new in AI, or whether you are a bit more seasoned in developing AI products, you may face some of these challenges and may need to address them at some point in your AI product journey. First is your experimentation and prototypes. Now, what really makes this hard, right? Your AI models need constant testing with new data, features, and algorithms. Some companies about 3 to 4 years back didn't even have access to AI tools, and some still do not. They don't have the right operationalized experimentation frameworks to A B test your AI driven hypothesis, or at times they even lack the ability to train on the right data quality sets, or at sometimes even create synthetic data derivatives. So, a lot of infra and architecture work has to be created to get these AI models and actions, which is easier now with a lot of experimentation tools in the market like StatStig, Mixpanel, or even some internal capabilities developed by companies. Second is you have adoption. I still feel there is a lot of skepticism around AI, especially around regulated industries like insurance, banking. In my experiences, adoption is still slow, and I can attribute it to three main reasons. First is your prioritization issue. Second is the team and technology mistrust to integrate. And then third is high hallucination rates of these models, though it's getting better with gradual improvements in models, and we are releasing new models pretty much every week. And then third is you're scaling beyond MVP. So now that we have the stakeholder alignment to build and test, now comes the time to really address the white elephant in the room, scaling AI models across your entire org or your company and to millions or billions of your customers. We have several tools in the market to do prototypes, right? So many tools which do amazing job at vibe coding, vibe prototyping. But how do they all really fit together and communicate with each other in your enterprise ecosystem is what matters. And that is why you have seeing about 80 to 90% of prototypes, they fail due to scaling issues or lack of execution and implementation. I feel this is where the rubber meets the road and where the AI greatness kicks in. Some of the common reasons for scaling problems that I have witnessed are, A is there's tech debt or systems or APIs are not ready to scale. B is model hosting and costing concerns, which are definitely getting better. And then three is no platform components that are set up in place, like not having the right orchestrators, Gen AI or agentic AI, SDK kits, feature stores, all of this modular architecture to achieve operational efficiency. And then last is you have your acceleration, right? How do we really balance the speed to market with innovation, which is another hard problem to solve in this evolving AI world? Now, let's talk about how are we going to overcome these challenges, right? I will be sharing some proven ways to overcome these challenges. I'm sure more techniques and mechanisms will come along given the fast pace at which AI is developing. So first is for the experimentation, right? I believe you and your firm really needs to have an experimentation mindset to fail fast and learn fast. Only 10% of your experiments may pass, but you need to keep trying, iterating by building mechanisms such as we have evolution metrics and feedback loops. Now, I will be going into detail in the upcoming slides on why product evals matter with a specific example. But personally, I have had AI models that hallucinated at 60% rate. This was a few years back when GPT-3 was just launched, right? And GPT-3 model was actually generating inaccurate text information about our hotels at Expedia. And with trust as one of our key AI principles, we didn't want to release it and to do what's right. I believe it still holds true today too, and you need to roll back AI model sometimes and rely on the human experts. Second is your adoption, right? Now, your stakeholders or the customers for whom you are developing the product truly need to understand the true value proposition. And I feel the trust can be built by explaining the results of the AI model in plain English. Why is option A better or option B? A lot of the new AI models now come with reasoning and visualization tools like OpenAI, Perplexity, Claude. All of them have come up with it. A few years back, it was just a black box and you didn't really know what was happening under the hood. But I believe, the feedback loops from the experts and reinforcement based learning, they have personally helped me drive quicker adoption in my experience. Let me share a quick story here. This is a fun story here. When we were building agentic AI LLM for customer servicing workflows at one of my companies, We leverage human in loop to score and vet these workflows, which helped us to gain trust and drive early adoption. Another interesting example that comes to my mind was when we moderated content to ensure we met the community guidelines and the company values and standards. So we had a lot of guardrails in place on what is acceptable in terms of what is not safe for work, what is offensive. And again, these moderated content would get scored by the machine learning models and reviewed by the operations teams. So such guardrails and human in loop mechanisms really help drive adoption of AI. Now, third challenge we have is scaling as a platform, right? We definitely need to have, for scaling to work, a tight modular integration with our systems, microservices, AI agents, and other AI models. And that's where I feel AI magic really bears its real fruit. It's a messy field. So again, AI resiliency is the key here. Now, scaling AI models is, I believe, more than just about token economics or GPU costs. It really touches upon four main issues. First is, bigger models may yield marginal accuracy, but it also increases costs. So it really needs to be balanced with the ROI that you're getting. B is your token usage increases with costs. So you really need to optimize for prompts, maybe even reducing some unnecessary context to reduce costs. Third is we have also considered having a tiered model approach. So maybe have smaller models and do some response caching for routine and repeated queries and Q&As, right? And maybe you can think of having bigger models for difficult queries. And then fourth is this is more around ML ops, where you have model versioning, prompt libraries, SDK kits, and orchestrators that cater to an ensemble of models that really help us balance accuracy and costs, which I feel really makes it easier to scale. And then lastly, we have, acceleration, right? We all spoke about balancing speed to market with innovation. Let me share with you an interesting example that we took, and it was drastically different approaches that we took when I was at Expedia. And it was, again, driven purely by business need and outcomes that we wanted to achieve. First is around the build, right? Build model. So we wanted to build for differentiation. We all know pictures speak more than 1,000 words. So we really wanted to leverage the fact that customers engage with photos more to make buying decisions. And that really helps drive differentiation among customer choices. So we really decided to build models in house, score these models and images aesthetically, and rank them, throughout the customer journey, right from search results page to checkout page. And then as interest grew into other domains, we also developed some self-serve capabilities around bring your own data, bring your own model. And consequently, the other side to this was the buy approach to get our product quickly to the market. We use some off-the-shelf models which had better lead management, customer service ticket management. So you can see two different approach can be used within the same company to drive acceleration and differentiation. And then ultimately we wrap these key challenges under the umbrella of safety and governance controls. You all need it, right? They say, adding AI is like comparing to switching from a plane to a rocket, where you have to put in a lot of new controls, safety checks, rollback mechanisms, and so forth. Now, while we're on the topic of challenges, let's touch upon some of the trade-offs that we need to address while building AI products. This is a decently exhaustive list, but we as PMs really need to look closely than ever since AI is non-deterministic and has a mind of its own. Now, I'll be sharing my point of view on the first two, just due to time constraints here, but I definitely plan to have a blog post coming up in my upcoming newsletter, so definitely stay tuned. First is, speed versus accuracy. Now, should we prioritize speed of the AI response or the accuracy of the AI model results? There is a fine balance that we need to strive between the two, depending on what is at stake. In our content moderation problem, we realized that to get more accurate results, we had to chain a couple of AI models, but the response time was slower. And this was few years back when we didn't have so many AI models showing up every week. But again, it still applies in today's models where you definitely need to balance a lot between speed versus accuracy. And then second is we have brevity versus completeness. This trade-off, comes up typically when you want to have a concise summary, but you want to make sure you are providing complete information. We did encounter this when we were summarizing our customer servicing tickets before they were handed off to the agents for agentic efficiency. We really risk losing the crucial context like number of times the customer was contacting us. Would it maybe it's a recurring issue and we have not handled it with our multiple failed responses. So, what is the right balance in terms of the number of word count, sentences, the customer problem, and what's been tried? I feel at the end of the day, it's all about what is relevant to the business and the customer problem that you are trying to solve. So, real quick, now that we have touched upon the key trade offs, I'd love to spend some time on product evals that really keep us honest in AI. Now, let's level set on what are product evals and why they matter before I get into sharing an example into it, right? Now, what are AI evaluations or evals, as we call it these days? It's basically a mechanism to perform an ongoing quality assessment to check the performance and the effectiveness of your AI models before and after the release of your AI products. It is also a chance for us to define what good looks like. I'll go even a bit further. Evals are like the receipts that we need to keep our models in check. Now, obviously, evals matter because they help us ensure the right AI product quality, reliability, and trust. And evals ultimately, I feel, they fuel and give momentum to our AI product flywheel. My preference, based on my experience, is to break down these AI evals into four main buckets. This is purely presented from a product lens view. First is you have your business bucket, is how is AI driving your core business model. Then is you have your second bucket around product, how are AI developments driving the product usage, engagement, and retention. Third is your AI models, how accurate they are and how well they promise the job they do. And then lastly, you have a system, as in how performant or hallucinating are the AI models. Now, I believe building multidimensional evals makes it more holistic versus just focusing on AI model accuracy. And then ultimately, we wrap this with framework with the data and the feedback loops, which really holds it together for iterations and improvements. I know there are a lot more additional AI observability metrics that are come about. I've read them in some blogs from Akash Gupta, and I'm yet to try it out. And it's pretty interesting where you can look at user logs and see how your evals get impacted depending on how many retrievals you are doing, how many documents you're retrieving, and does it really impact and hurt your context window? Here's a quick example that me and my team developed for content generation and moderation. In true product sense, what was the customer problem? It was content generation and moderation was done manually by the operations team, and it took them XX hours to process billions of content. And then obviously our product was AI models to generate some conversion uplifts, revenue, and to drive some moderation cost savings. And then you have these evals in the four buckets. I'd give you some time to take a look at these evals here. In retrospective, I think one thing that me and my team have realized is that better thresholds and guardrails really could have made our AI LLMs much more reliable and performant beyond just these AI metrics. I think we should also consider looking at the number of parameters, number of tokens, and if they need to be revisited throughout the product development lifecycle. It could be due to new data or the usage patterns have changed. And again, Gen AI is non-deterministic, right? So there are some pitfalls that you need to look out for while designing AI evals. This is a quick example of low, no code using agentic AI. I'm an engineer and I love trying out these. This is an example where I built a chain of microservices and contextual agents to do some customer sentiment analysis. I'm a big fan of N8N and Zapier to create these multi-agentic flows. And you can see that I've created three agents here. For the customer sentiment analysis, you have emotions, intent, and then bias. And then ultimately, aggregated these results. There are tons of models these days, front-end models, Lovable, Cursor, Granola, and then we also have new tools in agentic e-commerce. Now, lastly, as part of today's session, I would like you PM leaders to walk away with these four main takeaways as we are building and rebuilding using AI. First is, like I mentioned, always build with the customer first and not the model first lens. Models don't work if people don't use them. Second is, agentic era is here. So AI agents will soon be our colleagues, or you may be even managing your AI agents' performances. There are a lot of synergies between AI agents and jobs to be done framework. So I've shared a mental model on LinkedIn on my blog. So feel free to stop by there if you have time. And then third is we spoke a lot about evals. Evals matter for the success of our products. They keep us honest. And at the same time, we need to make sure we reward these AI models for the right reasons without having an AI misalignment. Anthropic has recently created and generated a paper on agentic misalignment. I'm sure we'll try to reference all of these links in our webinar's show notes. And then lastly, AI has become so seamless in our lives, right? It will soon be table stakes. So your mode is in your workflow and your outcomes. So this all ties back to, where we started today on focusing on the customer outcomes and the trust in our AI product flywheel. And again, it's all about rebuilding with AI. So, with that, thanks for having me and feel free to follow me on LinkedIn.
That was amazing, Gayatri. A lot of really incredible content that you've shared with us today. Your experiences, I mean, the breadth that you have worked already in AI is just incredible. It's awesome. Thank you so much, Gayatri.
Well, thanks, Denise, and thanks again to Product That Counts community. Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Lovely to have you today. Take care. Bye,
Bye bye.
everybody.